Here we go, welcome back to another video. Back up in the VIP room at the Celtic Manor now. We're going to talk about how we can change the trajectory of our shots. So we're hitting higher, lower, a sort of stock shot. Explain a little bit about ball position, what we call dynamic loft, and explain how that works. So yeah, let's get into it.
In the heat we rise, eyes into the skies. Feel the pulse inside as the moment flies. In the beat we trust like a bird.
Noah, give us a wave for YouTube. That's one of my juniors, lovely little lad Noah. He's been dying to get on the channel, so we'll get a little guest appearance from him for a little better ball soon. That'd be good. Okay, so a couple of numbers we need to look for today. We're going to be looking at launch angle, the angle the ball launches off the face at impact. We're going to look at apex, how high the ball gets, and we'll look at how those two numbers affect our carry distance. So if you haven't already, pop down, hit like, subscribe, that'd be great. So in the description as well, there'll be a link to my lesson availabilities. So for today, we're going to look at sort of dynamic loft, static loft, how we can change these through the swing to give us different outcomes in ball flight. Every club in your bag has got a static loft. So I believe it's like 32 degrees on this club, my 7-iron. Static loft is essentially when you pop this into a machine, it will give you a measurement in degrees of the club face, the angle of the club face in degrees relative to the golf shaft. Through the swing, so through impact, if we're starting to deliver the club with a handle forward, you can imagine if I take this golf shaft and angle it 4 degrees forward, it's going to take 4 degrees of loft off this club. Generally speaking, better players deliver less loft than what the static loft is, but we can use these different types of flights to help us in situations on the golf course. Vice versa, if you delivered it with 4 degrees angle on back, add in loft, it's going to pop up higher, stuff like that. So let's have a look and see what we can do to influence our impact. So to get started with, I'll just hit my stock 7-iron, show you some numbers on that. Obviously Top Tracer doesn't measure dynamic loft, but launch angle gives you a very good idea of what that dynamic loft's doing. So I'll explain a little bit when we get to that now. Okay, so if I hit my stock 7-iron, ball position slightly further forward than centre. See what numbers that give us. So there's our 3 highlighted numbers there. Apex 97, anything around 100 foot for my stock shots, what I expect to see. Same with launch angle there, 17, anything around 18. Again, is what my stock shot looks at, 189 carry. Let's have a look to see how we can reduce that apex, reduce that launch, and see how that affects our carry and ball flight. Okay, so I'm going to play a lower one now. So we see if we can reduce those against 7-iron. So just show you so I'm not cheating. Differences in setup. So I don't change a lot. All I'm going to do, might go a little narrower potentially. And ball position wise, instead of just being slightly forward of centre, it's going to nudge it a ball further back in my stance. If I hit a stock one from here, we'll have a look at those numbers and I'll explain how we can even potentially hit it a bit lower as well. Okay, so you can see launch has come down by a degree. Biggest number change in there is apex, so that's 10 foot lower just by moving that ball, 1 ball further back in my stance and changing nothing else. So you think if this is into wind, only slight wind, but you still want to get to around your sort of carry number, just pop it 1 ball back in the stance, make the same swing, just takes that little bit of height off. Okay, so let's say you're playing on a really windy day, like blowing a gale, you're on a par 3 or something, and it's just howling straight into you, quite strong. The other things we can do is we can take a little bit of height off by shortening the length of our swing. So again, same stance width, maybe slightly narrower than your full swing. You can grip down a little bit on the club there, so an inch grip down. Take your setup from there, and ball position, you can go 1 or 2 balls back depending on how low you want to keep it. This is 2 balls back. Now, all I'm going to feel like is I swing shoulder to shoulder. You can see there, carry stayed the same. Launch angles dropped quite a lot. 71 foot of apex. So you imagine us staying really quite low, still getting forward, still getting out there to 189. The wind's going to affect that a lot less. All that is grip down a smidgen, ball, two balls back in your stance, and then you're just going to swing shoulder to shoulder. I say that knocks quite a bit of height off, still keeps a bit of ball speed, reduces that dynamic loft, and get a bit more of a penetrated ball flight. Let's say great into wind on a par 3. Okay, so now we're going high. So imagine you're downwind, you still want to get a bit of height to get the land angle to get stopping power, or as we all are at some point in our golfing lives, we're behind a tree and we need to get this up pretty quick and back into play. You probably imagine, so if we go back to reduce dynamic loft and reduce height, we're going to want to go forward. Still, we need quite a bit of speed for this, but the ball's like one ball further forward in my stance. So make the same swing then. From there, I'm not gripped down at all, it's just a stock swing with the ball position slightly further forward. Okay, so the higher one. You see we've added roughly 5 or 6 degrees of launch there. Apex is shot up to 123 feet. Carries reduced. So obviously when we reduce dynamic loft, you think you're almost turning a 7-iron into a 6-iron through impact. This is the opposite way around. So I'm essentially turning my 7-iron into an 8-iron. So that's why it's going a little bit shorter there. Again, I'm stopping pretty quick. That land angle there just below the launch is an indication that the ball's coming in a little bit steeper because we've got the extra height. But imagine then, if you need to get up over a tree, back into play, but still get down there somewhere, is a great option, great tool to have in the box. Let's jump out on the course now. I'm going to try and find some situations and show you those in play. I just love a short par 4 downwind, downhill, and it's baked out. That's a 270 yard 3-iron, downwind, hit a bank and rolled. Perfect. It is really windy out here, so apologies if the audio comes out a little bit scratchy, but we will work our way through it. Stop. Stop. Hey, little look at birdie. For those of you who know the course, I've started on 10 on the Monty today because I don't fancy the walk from the first green to the second tee. Try and skip that if I possibly can. I'm going to play a few holes anyway. See if we can roll this in for a birdie on my first stop. Off the left. It's a little speedy past that hole as well, so let's get the speed right on this one. Turn. Oh my god. How does it not move? Golf hates me. So it's a little bit windy out here today, so apologies about the audio if it is a little bit scratchy, but also first 2 videos you probably have to bear with me because talking to camera is the weirdest thing I have ever done in my life. So hopefully I'm getting used to it. I feel like I am. It's a little bit easier to listen to. But yeah, just walking past the 18th tee here on the Montgomery. Off to the second hole. Okay, so found the left-hand rough here, second of the Monty. A little bit of wind into, more off the right-hand side. Got 140 middle, 138 middle. Pins at 147, so it's towards the back. Here, if you recall, ball back in the stance, keeps it a little bit lower because that wind's slightly into. I'm going to play that shot now. I'm trying to think. It's fairly strong. 148. I'm going to go up to an 8-iron. I'm going to grip down as well, just to keep it a bit lower and just to stop this from going too far. So wind off the right hand side, ball above my feet. I'm going to aim slightly right of that pin. There is a dip there. If I end up there, it's not the end of the world. Okay, so I'm going one ball back, grip down a little bit, just to keep that flight lower. And like I say, take a little bit of distance off, just to make sure it doesn't fly. So pin at the back, we don't want to be long. Set up, make sure the ball position's in the right spot. From there, give it a go. It's looking okay. Stay. That is so unlucky. That it needed to carry about half a yard further. It's just caught the bank and rolled down to the dip. This next shot's going to be horrendous, but did everything I wanted to, played the right shot, played how I wanted to. So just got a little unlucky with where it landed. Could have been a gust of wind, could have been anything. So that sort of stuff, you just got to let go. You've done your process, you've thought about what shot you want, played the shot you want, and the rest of it's golf, unfortunately. See what I mean now about this shot, and I'll show you where that's pitched. Come in from this direction, and I've landed right there and rolled down into this little dell. If that had carried a yard further, I've been put for another birdie. Now I've got a horrendous chip. This one's going to be a little bit difficult, borderline putt it, but oh, I don't know, my putting from off the green's not the best. Wonder now. Do you know what? Although my putting's not the best, I quite fancy a putt here. If it finishes 4 foot short, that is fine. Right, let's give this a whack. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, a poor chip there could be disastrous, so let's try and hold this one. Should be fairly flat, can't really see much in it. If anything is off the right, I think. Not giving the hole away though. Side right, right half. Should be perfect. Annoying par on the first. See if we can get a good par on the second. Turn. No. Ah, one over. Here we go, so last hole, just pop that one down the fairway. Should have a downwind, downhill shot, so we'll have a little look at that high shot. To be honest, predominantly, you're probably going to be playing the lower shots anyway, into wind situations and things like that, but it's always good to have the high one in there, just in case, say you need to get over a tree or get yourself out of trouble. Just get a lovely 3-wood there. Pop down to the comments and let me know what part of the game you like hitting best shots from. So is it fairway woods, irons, driver? Do you like holding long putts? What kind of shot do you enjoy hitting the best? Me personally, I can't really decide between hitting a nice fairway wood shot or a nice wedge shot. I think a nice wedge shot when it goes nice and close. You get that nice compression, a little bit of a divot, nice flight. That's my favourite shot. Doesn't happen very often. That's not quite gone to plan. So there's the tee box, bit my fairway wood. It's got up here, landed by this bunker, rolled all the way down. I don't know if you can just about see a little white spot by the green there. That is my golf ball. Let's say that hasn't gone quite to plan. So what I'll do is pop you down here. Okay, so like I said, that's not quite gone to plan. I'll go play that in a minute anyway, keep my score going, see what I can get. So I've got 126 yards, downhill, downwind. I'm going to take about 20 yards off that because it is quite strong and quite a long way downhill, so it's just over 100 yards. Like I said in the studio, when we play a higher shot, we put the ball further forward and we tend to add a bit of dynamic loft, so it goes a little bit higher, a little bit shorter, stops quicker. I know for my yardages, if I play one ball forward, shoulder to shoulder 52, should go about 100 yards or so. That's to the middle of the green here. Let's see if we can pull it off. That's it. Quick shot, and then we're doing really to semi-open the best. Ball further, one ball further forward. So it should get a little bit higher. there, say, popped up a little bit higher. It's going to land a little bit quicker on that green and stop. It's not my most favourite shot in the world to play that one. I need to practice at it myself, but you get the idea. I didn't quite get down the beans, kind of land front edge, so maybe 10 yards short. Didn't quite give it enough, unfortunately. But like I say, as long as you picked your shot, you got your plan. Let's say play around with it on the range, give it a practice if it's something you've not done before. See what different ball flights you get. Okay, so carried that about a yard too short there. Kicked off the bank, kicked it right instead of landing a yard further in it and downslope, unfortunately. So next shot, let's see if we can have this for birdie anyway. So back to level. Line there now. Read off camera because the battery's running out. See if we can hold this and get us level. Didn't move, got a bit of a shove. There we are. So that is 1 over 3-3. Thanks for watching anyway. Say have a play around on the range, see if you can get any different ball flights out of it, see what the trajectory does to it. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks very much.